Hi, I'm Cheryl Kagan, very proud to be the Senator for Gaithersburg and Rockville. Welcome to this week's edition of Kibbitzing with Kagan, brief conversations with people I find fascinating. I am really delighted to have as my very special guest this week as Dr. Aminta Breaux, the president of Bowie State University. Dr. Breaux, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat today.
Senator, thank you so very much for inviting me. I'm delighted to be with you to share what's happening at BSU.
There's a lot, so I have a million questions. We're going to start with you, though. You did your undergrad at Temple, you got your master's at Penn, and your PhD back at Temple in counseling psychology.
That's
So
right.
my first question is, how did you make the shift from counseling and psychology to higher education?
Well, I've always been fascinated with psychology from a very young age. So it's always been just a love of mine, reading about it, learning. It really isn't much of a shift at all. When you think about the work of a president and being in higher education through the route that I came up in academia, it fits together quite well because, of course, psychology is the study of human behavior. And here at BSU, Bowie State University, it has 6,400 students with so many varied personalities. Believe me, it really is helpful to have a
Yes.
background in psychology. At one point, I thought I might consider going into the profession in private practice many moons ago. But what I learned about myself is I love, love, love to be on a college campus, love working with students, would never, ever want to lose that. So it hasn't been too much of a shift.
Well, we are so lucky. Now, you've worked in higher ed in Massachusetts and
No,
uh,
actually in Philadelphia and then
Philadelphia.
in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Mostly in Philadelphia. I'm a native Philadelphian and worked in many higher ed settings in Philly before venturing further out west to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, before coming to Bowie State University.
So you've been president since July of 2017. What
That's
drew you to Bowie State?
Oh, there's so much to talk about. How much time do we have? There's a lot happening at Bowie State University. The history, the legacy of Bowie State is just amazing, and it's one that I embrace. You mentioned my academic history. I actually started out in college at Lincoln University. My first year in college was at an HBCU. And I hearken back to those days. I think about that a lot and the wonderful friendships I built there, the sense of a close-knit community. And I love, love, love that experience. Yes, I did transfer back into the city,
Yes.
and I'm a city girl. And so I did transfer back into the city, but I have long-standing relationships from that 1 year I spent at Lincoln University. And that speaks to that HBCU nurturing sense of community. And I wanted to get back to that after being in higher education, let's just say 35 plus years.
Yes.
I really enjoyed my time there and wanted to contribute back to the history, the legacy of BSU.
So HBCU, historically Black colleges and universities, there are four of them in Maryland: BSU, Coppin State, University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, and Morgan State. How do you all compete for prospects and how do you support each other?
Well, let me start with the support because that's where it begins with HBCUs. We are known for nurturing our students. We're known for being that close-knit community. And yes, there are times we're going to compete, but by and large, in the state of Maryland, it's a very close-knit camaraderie where we believe in lifting one another up and our students and making sure that they're able to reach their greatest potential. And that carries through with the relationships that the four HBCUs have in the
Mhm.
state of Maryland. We each have different strengths. And I think in that way, we're able to complement the work of higher ed here in the state of Maryland and helping the governor and you and our other elected officials help everyone see what we see here in Maryland is the excellence that we have among our historically Black colleges and universities. So Bowie State University is the oldest. HBCU in Maryland, founded in 1865. We have many strengths in various academic programs, especially in the STEM areas.
Yes.
We have a strong,
Science, technology, engineering, and math.
thank you. And we're known for cybersecurity,
Mhm.
data analytics, artificial intelligence, management information systems. We're
Mhm.
also very strong in the fine and performing arts. We have notable graduates from BSU, including
Including
yes,
the star of the
yes,
Michael
yes.
Jackson.
Miles Frost, who
Woo!
is still just rising. His star continues to rise to new heights. He's in Great Britain in the lead role in MJ the Musical. And we're
Amazing.
so very proud. And the list just goes on. So, you asked me the question about, the four HBCUs. There are times when, yes, we are might be overlapping with the students we're recruiting, but I also believe that the students need to find the best fit for them, and that's where having the diversity among our HBCUs is such a strength for Maryland.
Well, let's talk about the diversity. So when you hear historically Black college and university, there are people who may assume that the college campus is 100% African American or Black, and yet what I have is about 81% Black, 5% Hispanic, 4% white, 1% Asian, 4% multi-ethnic. How are race relations? Is there ever a challenge?
Generally, as our doors have always been open for over 150 years, almost 160 now, we celebrate an anniversary coming up in
Nice.
January. We are very inclusive as a community, and everyone who's here feels that sense of warmth and welcoming. And Senator, when you're on this campus, you're likely to get a hug from as you walk across the campus
I
because
love
that's
that.
who we are. So we embrace all ethnicities, race, gender, orientations. That's part of that legacy that we carry through because when you think about where we came from, where the doors were closed, we had to exist. Our HBCUs had to exist because we did not have the opportunities our African American citizens. So recognizing that, you can understand then that we have an inclusive community where we want everybody to feel a part of and feel embraced and feel empowered as well.
Right. So I can't leave this aspect without acknowledging that there's the potential of electing an alum from an HBCU, Howard University, where my mother went to school, as
Mhm.
our president of the United States, as well as Angela also Brooks as our next
Yes.
U.S. Senator, another African American woman. Is there an excitement on campus? Are people paying attention to that?
Oh, they are certainly paying attention to that.
Okay.
And they're paying attention with a great deal of pride and knowing that these strong, powerful African American women are rising through
Yes.
the ranks and with the potential of having the next president as a graduate from an HBCU is quite remarkable and exciting. There's a lot of attention that has been paid. We've had voter registration drives here on the campus.
Good.
We've had programs. We did have the watch party for the debate with Vice President Kamala Harris and former president. And so that was filled with excitement here. So the student ballroom and our student center was filled to capacity.
Awesome.
That's just one example where there's
Yeah,
a lot of excitement that you'll find here, a lot of pride.
I love that. Very exciting. So, let's go to some less fun things, which is the students now. So you've been there since 2017.
That's
You
right.
were before, during, and after COVID. Tell me the changes you've seen in the student body in terms of their challenges. How's the mental health of the students now? How are you coping? What services are being provided?
It is hard to think back on those times, the before,
Yeah.
where we were, just as we say here, racing to excellence, the name of our strategic plan.
Hmm.
And then to go into that pandemic where we almost had to set up a public health department here on the campus just to operate. And then to see where we are today, the students are very engaged as a campus community. They are getting involved with student activities, but we still see the impact of the pandemic in the emotional health and well-being of our students and frankly our entire campus.
Mhm.
We recognize that it's not just the students, it's everyone,
Yes.
you, me, everyone who was impacted. Yet we
Mhm.
go through day after day acting like everything's just fine, but we know that it isn't. We have forever been changed. What I see is that the students are emerging out of isolation. It's taken us a while to get here. It
Yes.
started with when we first came back to the campus, we brought back our first year students because we didn't want them to lose that experience. So as soon as the governor opened up
Mhm.
everything again, we
Mhm.
brought in our first year students and then slowly brought back the upper class students. And I would say that we are still feeling that impact,
Yes.
again, for the emotional health and well-being of our campus. But this class, and as each year passes, we see those students getting more and more engaged in the campus. This year has been phenomenal in the level of engagement, again, with voter registration drives,
Mhm.
but the student organizations and the level of interaction with one another. So I think we're emerging from that, but we can't lose sight that it did impact on our students and the entire campus community across the nation, every
And
campus.
absolutely, every campus, every K through 12, all schools. Um, I have to ask about 988. A recent study discovered or revealed that about 1 in 4 Americans had ever heard of 988. And for someone watching who may not be aware, that is a free national suicide prevention and helpline, just if you need someone to talk to. How is Bowie State putting that out, making sure that students are aware who may be in crisis?
Well, we have a strong support system here with mental health counseling and emotional health and well-being has been a focus of ours since the pandemic.
Good.
We have our wellness day once a semester. When we first came back from the pandemic, we had a full wellness week and
Nice.
making sure that we are intentional in addressing these issues. And so 988 is put out through our mental health services. We have telehealth that we
Hmm.
didn't have. We had it at a smaller level
Hmm.
before the pandemic. That is a service that our students seek throughout the year. And we're so pleased that we've been able to continue having those services. So it's put out across the campus and recognizing, what that means and encouraging everyone to get attention. In the African American community, unfortunately, we see that it is still a stigma
A stigma.
in
Yep.
our community. And we have to raise awareness that this is an issue that can impact on anyone at any time.
Hmm.
And the key is getting the help that you
Hmm.
need. But we have to make that apparent to the general community that
Yes.
there's no shame in asking for help.
There's
And
been
you
a
need to support those who are in crises.
100%. There's been a recent TV ads with athletes and athletes of color saying,
Mhm.
"Yeah, man, I was going through a tough time," and they're really powerful, really strong. So let's pivot. Um, how adequately prepared for college are you finding the freshmen, the K through 12 graduates? Are they ready to learn? What sort of services or remedial sort of classes or coaching
I
do you
do
find?
think that through the pandemic, we have seen that impact on the preparation, not just in terms of academic performance, but also in those social skills that are so essential for
Mhm.
interaction in the classroom. And we are an in-person learning environment. We have
Mhm.
some programs online and some are hybrid. But by and large, we really pride ourselves on having that in-person interaction.
Sure.
And employers are looking for those social skills, for those what I call essential skills, some call social, those, soft skills, but I think they're essential and you'll hear that from employers. So that's where we see the additional support is needed in helping our students to recognize the eye contact is important, shaking hands, not looking down at your devices, but looking at a person and interacting in those
Mhm.
physical environments with those cues that are so important for us as human beings. We are
Yep.
social creatures.
Yep.
So that's where we are working with the students even more than ever.
Punctuality, preparedness, respect. I mean, there's so many pieces there.
Communication, written
Communication.
and verbal
Amen.
communication skills.
Amen. Well, speaking of communication, do you know what percentage or what number roughly of Bowie State's students are non-native English speakers? And
Hmm.
how do you accommodate with language access?
Well, I would say that we have a small percentage. It overlaps with the numbers that you cited in terms of our population here. We used to have a much more robust international population.
Mhm.
And for our domestic population, where we will see those numbers increase, and it still is a small number, I would say probably less than 5%
Okay.
are, so it's a small number. But as we've seen our population become much more diverse, especially with the rising number of the Hispanic population,
Yes.
we see those numbers increasing. But we used to see much more of a need to address English speaking as a second language as an issue. But our numbers have started to climb again with our international population. So we will
Mhm.
be addressing that much more so in the future as
Okay.
we build out new partnerships.
So I can't resist referring to the fact that you and I sat together at the commencement of the very first service year option program that our governor, Wes Moore, created, the first of its
Yes.
kind in the country. And it's very exciting. Tell me how it might engage or affect Bowie State students, whether they consider it after graduation or whether you might want to admit students after they've been through the program. Because again, you and I were talking about those not
Yes.
soft skills, but like urgently needed skills.
What a great idea the governor had. Governor
Mhm.
Westmore, he gets it. He understands the value of civic engagement, the value of experiential learning, which the Maryland Service Year option provides to individuals, both high school graduates, but those who are out, in the workforce who might be changing careers and just want to engage and give back to the community.
Yes.
And for the purpose of full public disclosure, I also sit on the governor's advisory board for the Maryland
Mhm.
Service Year. And I'm really excited that we will have two individuals here on our campus
Nice.
at Bowie State University to have that full immersion experience and get a sense of how it is to be in an academic environment. I'm
Mhm.
excited for the high school students who might be stopping out and still considering what they want to do. Some
Mhm.
students might go on to community college while they sort out where they want to go, and
Mhm.
we applaud them. Here at BSU, I'm excited because this program, the Maryland Service Year, provides yet another pathway for students to explore their skills, their abilities, hone in on certain skills, essential skills, communication skills, deepen their learning about society and its needs, and then figure out where they fit. So I would love, love, love for those individuals to then enroll at Bowie State University. I think they're going to be some of the most dynamic individuals, and we want them here at BSU.
It's great. So I still have a million questions, but let's see. AI, artificial intelligence.
Ah,
How
yes.
is that showing up on campus briefly for faculty, for students, for the administration? And are you establishing guardrails? What's okay and what's not?
We have been involved very intently on, and when I say we, the faculty especially, on what AI means today for our students. AI has been around for a while and it's becoming even more ingrained in our curriculums, in our everyday living. It starts with us recognizing that it can be very much an opportunity for us to help spearhead various programs here. As I mentioned, our strengths are in the STEM areas, the science, technology, engineering, and math. We have cybersecurity, a center of excellence for cybersecurity education designated by Homeland Security. and also the NSA. So as you might expect, we're excited about AI, but it does come with some cautions that we must recognize in consideration of the ethics. How do you
Yep.
integrate AI into the curriculums and verify that students are learning, that they're embracing and understanding the concepts? And there are ways to do that. So this summer, our faculty engaged in intensive workshops and educational programs, bringing in speakers, dialoguing around what's happening out here, bringing in individuals who are on the cutting edge. But, for many of us, we're all learning as
Totally.
we go. It's like building the plane, while you're
As
flying
we're
it.
flying it, no question.
So we have, and I just want to mention, we've created new programs here, new academic programs.
I was
So
just going there. Hold on. Hold
yeah.
on. Let's see. I was going to ask you about the Entrepreneurship Living Learning Community, the ELLC, which was established in the fall of 2021. And I also want to ask about the MLK Center. So if you can give us a snippet on each of those.
I'd be glad to. So entrepreneurship is the hallmark of Bowie State University, along with experiential education. We want every student who graduates from Bowie State University to develop an entrepreneurial mindset. It's more than creating a product or a business. It's about how you think about the world
Mm,
and ensuring that you're innovative in your thinking, creative in your thinking. And those skills are going to be helpful for any employer, any workplace, because the jobs of today are changing with
hmm
AI.
hmm
Some of the jobs that exist today will not exist in just 5 years from now. They will be transformed. Our students with that entrepreneurial mindset, we want them to be prepared to lead the next change, to be part of the change and not wait for an employer to come and say, oh, AI is now reshaping this.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want them to go to the employer and say, hey, did you know that there's this next trend, and be ahead of the game?
So
So
I
it's
hope
more
that
than a program. No, go ahead.
so University of Maryland has its Do Good program and messaging, and such an enormously impressive, to me anyway, internationally known commitment to change and making change and helping the community. I wonder, I hope that the entrepreneurial spirit is also going to the nonprofit sector and to building
Oh,
community.
of course, of
Okay,
course.
love it.
And I'm very pleased that with the support Ben Cardin, Senator Ben Cardin, and Senator Chris Van Hollen,
Mm-hmm.
Bowie State University received a $3 million grant to partner with the Bowie Business Innovation Center,
Nice.
that's housed right here on our campus. And together, we're helping other small minority-owned businesses understand how to get 8A contracting through the federal government. We also are in partnership with Saxby's, which is based out of Philadelphia, where we have they run an experiential learning cafe
Hmm.
on college campuses. They're a B Corp, and their business is about doing good
Okay,
while earning a profit. So it's not a not-for-profit. Their model is you can earn money, you can generate revenue, and you can do good. It doesn't have to be an either or.
good.
So we're helping not-for-profits through the Bowie Business Innovation Center, but we're also looking at innovative new models such as the B Corp, that a model that Saxby's has. And that cafe that operates on this campus is totally run by students.
Love it.
And that's again going back to the hallmark. But I wanted to come back to what we were, talking about as far as artificial intelligence, because I think it's important to note that we're setting up new academic programs such as the Internet of Things, our master's program, that highlights and helps individuals contribute, learn how they can contribute to these businesses that must integrate AI into their business, not just practices, but their products as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you think about everyday living, where your refrigerator is programmed to your phone or
So
your
crazy.
grill, that's the Internet of
Yeah.
Things. And that's where our students are learning how they can then go out into the workforce, diversify the workforce, and be part of the change that's happening with AI.
And MLK Center is what?
Oh, the MLK Center. We just cut the ribbon on that new building. It's 192,000 square feet where every student will go through that building because that's focused on the liberal arts. So pairing our strengths in the science, technology, engineering, math
Mm-hmm.
with the liberal arts, the foundation that we are laying for our students is in the liberal arts. And what are the
Right.
liberal arts about? Training and educating our students how to think, how
Mm-hmm.
to have critical thinking around issues of the day, learning how to communicate, developing analytical skills, communication skills. That building is home to our communications department, history and government, military science, English, history, so this is the foundation on which we build. Again, as jobs change, you
Mm-hmm.
still need those skills. You must
Yes,
have those skills.
no
So
question.
thank you for asking about that. And I owe a big deal of gratitude to you, to all of our legislators for what you're doing to stand up our HBCUs, making sure we have the facilities to provide learning environments, rich learning environments for our students who are coming to the campus. So that is a state-supported building. And I thank everyone who recognizes the value that the liberal arts provides to the workplaces across the state of Maryland.
No question. No question. A few more. Um, Again, sorry to be a Debbie Downer here. Public safety. Almost exactly a year ago, there was a shooting on campus,
Yes,
October of
yes.
2023.
Mhm.
Uh, what sort of public safety measures? How safe do you think the students feel? How big an issue is that for you?
Well, it's a huge issue for every college president when you look at the larger community, and we are a microcosm of our community. So anything that can happen in any community can
Yes.
happen here in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to recognize that. That incident that occurred at the end, very end of our homecoming, which is a week-long celebration, just as we were about to shut down, we had that incident where there were individuals who were involved in a shooting incident that had no affiliation with our campus community.
Right.
So, but recognizing that, we have to recognize that we are connected. And it's been my intent to have us even more connected with our larger community because I believe we have solutions for what's happening in our community, from homelessness to climate change and all the issues that our society is facing. So we're not going to hunker down and isolate, but we have to be mindful and we have to understand what's happening out here in the larger society. So as a result, we have poured millions of dollars into safety and security. This president has learned more about technology than I ever thought I would learn about how we can protect our campus. And we are doing so. So from more surveillance that's on the campus, we have more fencing put up so we can funnel individuals into 2 points, access points, instead of just being wide open. We have
Yes.
we have 2 access points now, and recognizing that we need to know who's coming onto the campus. As we prepare for homecoming, we're doing so with technology.
Mm-hmm.
The same technology we used during the pandemic, where you had to show a green QR code that said you had done everything you
Yes.
needed to
Yes.
do, that technology will hold us in good stead. As we go into homecoming, everyone will need to register to come to homecoming. That way we know who's coming and we
Yes.
can have better identifiers for who's coming. And we want people to have fun. Homecoming is fun. It's
Totally.
band, it's tailgating, it's the
Yeah.
football game,
Yeah.
coronation for our royal court. It's an exciting time, but we have to balance that with safety and security.
No question. Uh, Graduation rate. University of Maryland, 4-year graduation rate is 76%. Bowie State in 4 years, roughly 15% is what my staff has identified.
Right.
What are we working on to make sure that improves? Is it that it takes more than 4 years? Is it they're getting job opportunities and leaving? What are we looking at here?
The number one barrier for our population is a financial one.
Of course.
It's financial.
Mm-hmm.
We are serving some of the most high need students
Mm-hmm.
in our society.
Mm-hmm.
And our mission is about access and affordability to a quality education access.
Mm-hmm.
You have to recognize that students, if they stop out to save up money to come back, they're less likely to continue on.
Right.
And so we look at 6-year graduation rates because it does take students longer
Mm-hmm.
if they stop out, save up, and come back. So
Mm-hmm.
6-year graduation rates are about 43%.
Okay.
And we're a public university. And
Mm-hmm.
so the best metric is to compare us to on 6-year graduation rates, again, because of the population that we're serving.
Mm-hmm.
The highest need students, 49% of our students are Pell eligible,
Mm-hmm.
meaning they're coming from the greatest need.
And Pell Grants are federally guaranteed
They are,
student loan programs.
yes. And so
I benefited from a Pell Grant. I mean, we all
it
need
is a
it for the
grant,
vote.
yes. And so those students are eligible, but where we struggle,
Mm-hmm.
and this is where fundraising, private giving means so much
Mm-hmm.
to our institution, because where we struggle is not so much with the lowest need, it is the middle class,
Mm-hmm.
where the students have exhausted all their credit cards, their families have, drawn down, taken out the second mortgage, whatever they
Yes.
need to do. And so if they are not able to meet that credit eligibility and they've maxed out of their credit,
Mm-hmm.
then that's where they're struggling. And so this president spends a lot of time fundraising, friend raising to ensure that the general public understands, although we are a public university, part of the university system of Maryland, not all of our funds come from the state.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so where does it come from? It comes from tuition and fees that students are paying.
Right.
Then it comes from the state, from private giving.
Mm-hmm.
So when I arrived here, our endowment was just about $7 million. We spend about 4% of that to help fill that need. That's a drop in the bucket for
Yeah.
the 6,400 students attending Bowie
Yeah.
State University. So I'm very pleased to say that our endowment is now up to almost $46 million
Amazing.
because of the giving that and getting the word out and
Yes.
the giving that has come about in the more than 7 years that I've been here.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to end on a couple of high notes and then we'll get to the fast five.
But
So I'm
that
gonna watch-
endowment is a high note.
That is totally a high note.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to watch your face light up when I say the CIAA. So tell us
Yeah.
what it is and why it's awesome for Maryland and for
Well,
you.
the CIAA is the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association. It is our athletic conference. There are 13 member institutions. I serve as the chair of the board, and I'm very proud that we have the CIAA in the state of Maryland.
Yep.
And we're excited about that. For a very long time, it was down south in another city in North Carolina, in
Yes.
Charlotte. And we were able to bring it up here with a wonderful proposal that was submitted by the Visit Baltimore and the state of Maryland. And so
Great job.
we're so excited. So in February, mark your calendars. We will have the CIAA once again in Charm City, where last year we brought over about a $32 million economic benefit to the state of Maryland, because people come from all over. They come from across the state. This is a tradition. It's a legacy. Family generations have come back to the CIAA year after year, and now they come to the state of Maryland to enjoy our state and spend money, go to the restaurants, and just take in the state. And so we're really excited about that.
Absolutely.
I thought you might ask me also about the latest news that's come out when you said you were going to watch me light up. I'm also lighting up over the latest U.S. News and World Report rankings that have come out.
Same way.
Just came out last week. And among the more than 100 HBCUs in the entire nation, Bowie State University has moved up from a ranking of number 16 to number 11 in just 1 year, and climbing, and we're going to keep pushing harder. But that's quite an achievement for this amazing campus to move up to number 11 in the U.S. News and World Report rankings for HBCUs in the country.
Fantastic. Well, we were done with our research before last week, I think. So that might
Oh,
be why we
I'm
missed
not
it. So that's,
surprised, but that's
yeah,
hot off the presses.
that's amazing. All right, totally. Most rewarding aspect of your job, what are you proudest of and what's your biggest challenge?
I'm proud of all these students that are here at Bowie State University that have found us. We have students coming from 30 states, 37 foreign countries, and I'm just so thrilled that we're able to give that opportunity to so many students. We want to open the door even wider for them, and so this president's out there fundraising, friend-raising. So secondly, I'm very proud of that endowment that continues to grow, and that individuals and companies and organizations have seen the value that we provide, and they are giving and partnering with us. We have amazing partners from BGE up in
Baltimore Gas and Electric.
Baltimore to
Yeah.
Adobe, national partners that are paving the way, helping us pave the way for more opportunities. So I'm really proud of what we've been able to build here, providing more opportunity for more students to come to BSU, the oldest HBCU in Maryland.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Breaux, it is time for our fast five. 5 quick questions, 5 quick answers. Number one, who was your favorite college professor and why?
Oh my goodness, it would have to be one of my professors in psychology that taught psychopathology that
Okay.
helped me get even more excited about the field and encouraged me to deepen my learning about the field, and also supported me in thinking about graduate school.
Nice.
As an undergrad, many students are thinking about graduate school. And so I'm really excited that I was encouraged in that way.
Okay. Question number two, tell us about a hobby of yours.
Oh, I very much enjoy dance. I enjoy golf, and that keeps me physically fit and able to do all the things that I do around here. I
Awesome.
love both of them. Dance goes way back to my college years, and I love, love, love music and dance.
Perfect. Question three, what is your favorite family tradition? So you have a husband, 3 girls, and 3 grandkids.
Hot off the presses, I have 4 grandchildren. The
Congratulations.
youngest was born back in January,
Oh,
and
oops.
yes, so I'm really excited about the family that continues to grow. I would say the tradition is one that's coming up. It's Thanksgiving time when we all come together, and it's a very loud household. Children, grandpuppies, it's a sight to behold. So if you ever hear about the Breaux household and you say, what was going on over there? It just great conversation, great food, lots of football watching, and it's a fun time in our household.
I love that. That's great. Question number four, what's the best advice you've ever been given by a mentor or friend?
Mm, that's an interesting question. Probably one of my mentors used to say, leave a window open to take in new information, let
Mm,
some air come in. Even when you think that you have all the answers. I learned that very early on, and I still think about that today because there's so much more for me to learn. I'm a
mm,
lifelong learner, and I try to instill that in my students that it doesn't end when you walk across that stage. There's so much
yes,
more for you to know. So get up every day, enjoy every day, get out and meet people, people you've never heard of, maybe you might sit next to, and you just introduce yourself, and you have so much more that you could learn about what's going on in life.
I love that. Question number five, Dr. Aminta Breaux, president of Bowie State University. What is your hidden secret superpower? What's the skill or talent you have, something you're really good at that most folks can't do?
Oh my goodness, that I'm really good at. Probably my superpower, it is probably my energy. I'm known for high energy. It's something many years ago, I used to run track and field. My father was a coach of track and field Olympic athletes. And so I think I'm very driven and to get across that finish line, not run up to the finish line, but cross over it. And so from time to time, I get out here and I enjoy running. Don't do it as much as I used to. But
Okay.
I would say it's the energy that helps me to thrive and get energized every day about what I'm learning and meeting my students here.
Love it. Love it. Well, this has been such a joy. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
leadership. Thank you for all you're doing and your creativity and your energy. And thank you for making time to kibitz today. It's been such an honor.
Thank you. And thank you for everything that you do. I really appreciate all that you're doing for the state of Maryland. Thank you for having me here today.
Absolutely. Look forward to seeing you before too long. Take care.
Appreciate it. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.